Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm, and we are actually up at the farm. So in England, lockdown has eased ever so slightly and it allows people to jump in the car and go a distance to exercise. So we have taken full advantage, jumped in the car and driven up here. We haven't been here for 2 months, so I've been really nervous about what the state of play is going to have been up here, because of course by now we were expecting to be here and actually farming. But we're not. We're still in the sort of the setup stages. But we're going to now try and get up here at least once a week, get some infrastructure in. So I thought on this video, I know a few of you, especially patrons, have been asking for some updates on various aspects, so the pond project, conservation stuff. So we're going to do a quick tour. We're going to talk about a few different projects that are going on, and we're going to just enjoy the weather and being outside. So we are just camped out in the Pheasantry. So this is the area that we've been clearing for the Pheasantry and the Bird of Prey Centre in the future. So we've just been working out where we're going to put our initial pheasant runs. So our main thing is we need to just build infrastructure to get the animals up here because there's nowhere to put anything. So we're aiming to build 3 6-foot by 15-foot runs here. So we've just kind of started to stake them out. We're going to include the stumps where possible and some trees in the aviaries for the birds, and we're aiming to have 3. So there'll be one here and then another and then another. They're 6 foot high, 15 foot long. I would have made them, but the problem is at the moment, because we're not on site, I can't make them at home and transport them here. So we're just going to buy some off-the-shelf aviaries. We've got some prices. They're going to be around £1,500, but for some initial infrastructure that I can just put here immediately and move stuff into, I think that is going to be what we have to do, because I'm not a builder, I'm not a carpenter, so these things are going to take me time to build. So I think to begin with we'll just get everything made, brought here, and then once I'm here then I can build things like chicken tractors and stuff like that. So this will be the area, as I say. We'll have Adam and Eve in one pheasant run, and then we've got 2 more males, so we'll have another male in another run, another male in another run, and then for the first time we're going to put the cockatiels and the budgies that I've got in one of these aviaries, and then I'll move them at some point. But I think it's quite a nice place to be. We've cut down a lot of trees, we've got this dappled shade, got this lovely little bits of light coming through. We're going to plant it up nicely, so it should be quite nice. The other thing I've been quite stressed about is, if you've been seeing my Instagram, most of my garden is currently in pots, because when you sell a house over here in the UK, it's basically assumed that whatever plants are in the ground go with the house. If you've got pot plants, you can take them with you. So I've basically potted up most of my garden, and we'd actually started to bring plants up here, and then lockdown. So I had brand new plants put into pots that really need watering, and they weren't getting any watering because it's also been super dry. So I've come up and I'm actually really pleased, because for the most part everything has survived. This little Acer is a bit crispy, but we're going to give it a really good water today, and I think it should be all right. It's still alive. It'll probably lose all these leaves, but it will hopefully come back. The phormiums and the thornless blackberries, I've just got in I've set the pots into some water. You can see how dry that is, but again they have made it. I think what I'm going to do is fill this with some water and pop some pots into that. Again, we've got a black elderberry, we've got another Acer, we've got our smoke bush, which I'd have been gutted to have lost, all survived. And then these were really cheapy plants, bargain plants that I got that were almost killed, and they're all doing really well as well. So I've been lucky, everything has made it. So I'm going to give it a really good water, just in case lockdown changes again and we suddenly go back into a big lockdown, you can't go anywhere. So I'm going to really water them heavily, and where possible I'm going to stand them in stuff so I can put water in this wheelbarrow and put some plants in that as well, just to try and get them through. So we're going to head out of the Pheasantry to where the market garden is going to be, and actually you can see a lot better kind of the initial spacing for it now, because our farmer has ploughed the field and left our market garden bit back. Now, a small word on the ploughing, I'm not really happy that that's happened because to me, the ploughing technique is so dated and destroys biodiversity, destroys soil structure. So this is going to be the last time that that's ever done. I know that he is going to seed it because he wants to use it as hay. So it is going to be seeded with grass again. But I'm a bit disappointed that that was done. But again, it's not going to happen again in the future. But you can see, so here's our ploughed field, which, as I said, I'm not happy with. But here is the market garden. So I told him specifically, I laid out the edge of the market garden and I said, please don't cut it, don't plough it, don't do anything, don't till it, because we're going to smother it in cardboard and then we're going to get loads and loads of compost delivered, and we'll put that over the top of the cardboard and create a proper no-dig garden. And you can see kind of, so it will run initially, that's the section, and it runs up to about here, polytunnels down here. So that's kind of a better indicator of the size. So I'm quite happy with that. Although I'm going to need vast amounts of cardboard, because the last time I came up I thought I had huge amounts of cardboard with me, and the only patch I managed to do was that. And literally that's as far as I got. And this is chicken poo from home. I was like, I'm not leaving my chicken poo in my garden for other people to take advantage of. I'm taking it with me. And I did. And actually, as I'm looking at it, can you notice that how this is kind of yellowy grass, and then actually as you come across, the grass is a lot lusher around the edges. So that just shows that this is really good fertile soil. So eventually this whole plot will look like this, and then we'll use some open soil, some dogs and some landscape fabric to weed down. But that's kind of a little update on Market Farm Garden and where that's going to be. Hopefully a lot will start to happen in this area over the coming few weeks. So over here is our second natural pond. This one I haven't done so much work on because we initially were going to restore this pond first, and then our beekeeper, who has some bees over there, they are very, very, very angry bees. He has actually taken most of the bees away now, but there's a couple of hives. I don't go near them, and when we move up here I'm going to have to get in touch with them and say, look, you either need to take them or you need to switch out your queen, because we basically can't work here because of these bees, because they're super angry. But this is the pond. It's kind of located by this huge oak, which is it's not an oak at all. What am I talking about? It's an ash, this lovely ash. And our market garden is on the other side of that hedge. So the key reason I'm looking at this pond and focusing on this pond is that potentially I'm going to use this natural pond as a water source. So I'm going to be watching, it's obviously been very dry already this year, so I'm watching the water course in here closely to see whether I can actually pump water out of it throughout the year and use it kind of as a reservoir. So let's have a little look. So you can see it's been really dry, but despite that there is quite a lot of water in here. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot of water in here and we're not taking any out. As soon as we obviously start pumping some out, there's the potential for this to dry out completely. So I'm going to take very careful stock of water levels in this pond and how it does over this coming year, because it's a very close water source. We're going to collect water runoff from roofs and things, but this is a really good water source potentially for adding a water pump and pumping it through irrigation onto the market garden. And as I say, it's not far away. So here is the pond, and over there is the market garden, and the pond actually goes, again, I'm not going close to the bees, but the end of the pond is there. So you could have your pump just here, and you've only literally, it's probably 100 meters you need to pipe work through. There is no power though, So that's something we would also have to take into consideration, would be how to power a pump. I haven't even looked into it. I need to see if there's a solar pump, whether that would work, whether a solar would give it enough juice, whether you can buy battery pumps, because there's no way to get electricity here fast. But it would be helpful. I don't want to completely use all drip irrigation. It just uses a lot of water, but I am wary and I'm worried about water and lack of water, especially given this spring's kind of drought. So that is a consideration. I'm using this pond, this natural pond, as a kind of a water reserve, water well for feeding our market garden. And so up to the pond restoration project. So this is one of 2 natural ponds we've got on the property, and this is the one that I've been doing the most work on, and it's looking lovely. I had a big clean last time, and so this used to be all brambles and thickets. I left this one, oh goodness, what is the tree called? Hawthorn, thank you. Really common. I've left this one hawthorn tree. It's come into bloom. It's looking really fab. Really happy with it, and I like how it kind of is just this one tree coming out. This tree is going to come out, and then this ash will come out as well, but I'm going to leave the little hawthorn in behind. Again, we were worried about drought last time. A lot of the things that I had planted didn't come up. We have got a couple of foxgloves. They've lasted, and then the pond again has stayed relatively full. These are the Sarracenias that we put in just last time we just brought them up to leave. This is the Gunnera. The Gunnera's doing really well. The pot had fallen over. Excuse me. Hence why the leaves are going this way. But it's doing well. It's got water. It's bound in a pot at the moment because I don't want it to go crazy. If you are thinking of putting Gunneras out, by the way, you must choose the right variety. There are a couple of varieties that are now classed as invasive. You cannot plant them. You should not be able to actually buy them from nurseries anymore. This one, which is Gunnera manicata, is fine, but they do rump away, so I'm going to keep it in a pot, and I'll just make the pots bigger and bigger and bigger over time. The other thing we probably need to talk about here is the weed. So that is part of the process of rejuvenating this pond. So if you think about this pond initially, this pond was stagnant, and so we cleared away all of the canopy, and we opened it up to the light, just to get some light onto the pond and get it to fill up. So that was step 1. Now it's got more light, but it hasn't got loads of oxygenating weed and life in the pond, and so that's perfect for all this algae to bloom. So it's a natural step, it's a natural progression of the pond. I'm not going to bother clearing it all out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on just getting as many pond plants in as I can. Oxygenating weed, native lilies, things like that. Just get them in the pond, and they will create more oxygen, and they will clear away this blanket weed, as it's often known as. I might be able to scoop some of it off the surface in the future when I've got more time up here. But of course, there are lots of, that's a bird scarer by the way, there's lots of bugs and wildlife and stuff in that blanket weed. So I don't want to be too quick to pull it all out initially, especially while we're getting set up. One thing I am really happy about is our yellow flag iris. So I bought a load of pond plants a couple of years ago with all the money that you guys gave through Patreon. And there's some mint, there's quite a lot of mint down here. There's some plantain in there somewhere, not entirely sure where it is. I think it's bogged under that weed at the moment. And then this yellow flag iris, and it's really grown massively. And you can see it's going to be a showstopper soon. It's got loads of flowers on it. It's had one bloom, which has fallen off down here. It's beautifully surrounded by duckweed and this blanket weed, but that's lovely. But you can just see on here all of these beautiful buds which are going to come up, and this hopefully is going to spread and become really nice. So we'll be buying a lot more pond plants this year and getting this in, but I'm really happy with how this pond's coming on. It would be easy to be bogged down by the fact that suddenly my beautiful pond is covered in blanket weed, but it's part of the process. I hadn't thought of it, but now I've seen it, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. So that's what's going to happen. So we're just going to concentrate on getting some more oxygenating plants into this water. But as I say, it's an ongoing project. It's going to take many years till it's absolutely beautiful, but hopefully now we're going to be on site a lot more, and when we live here and we're on site every day, this is really going to come along really quickly. So I know this video has been very much a show and tell rather than an actual doing video, but I wanted to update you on the various things around the farm, and also I wanted to update myself because, as I say, I haven't been here for a couple of months. We've been in lockdown. I needed to get here mentally and just breathe and rest and look what was happening. But hopefully, if we can continue to come at least once a week, then there'll be progress and I can show you what I'm actually doing, especially when it comes to moving up here and getting all the livestock and things. Thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, as always, please just drop them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. If you like the video, hit subscribe and that thumbs up button. And if you're on Facebook, come over and join us at Brimwood Farm's community group and share all your gardening and animal and farming love. But for now, please stay safe, stay well wherever you are in the world, and I shall see you very soon. Bye bye.